So in the last class, we have discussed with .twb and .twbs extensions. So, and we can go with the live connection versus extract connection. So now let's take 10th version because we are going to extract, and I will showcase the same thing. So in general, we do have two types of connectivities. In Tableau, we have live and we do have extract. So what is meant by live and what is meant by extract? Already we have discussed with live. So live in the sense, so it is directly connected to the database. So this is the actual process. I'm going to explain the process here. So whatever the differentiation, right? So connectivity between live and extract. So just drag and drop a table here. You can see live and you can also go with the extract. So in general, extract is nothing but a cube. You know, like cube concept. So cubes are nothing but static databases. So in general, like in any traditional BI, right? So to improve the performance of those reports, we have to go with the cube concept. So that is what cubes. But in Tableau, we have a concept called .tde. .tde, so Tableau data extract. So we are going to extract this subset of data into .td file. So let's check here .td. I do have .td files. You got it, right? These are extract files. So, but I'm going to explain the actual workflow or whatever the report execution flow. So just go with the report execution flow for now. So what is the actual report execution flow in reporting tools? You can take any particular reporting tools. So when we run a report, first it goes to metadata. So what is meant by metadata? In general, metadata is nothing but data about data. Data about data. So first it goes to metadata, takes the definition, because like metadata stores all the definitions. Definition in the sense whatever the columns, right, we have. So it stores complete information of those data. Not with a detailed level of information, not with the records. It stores only the definition. And it stores connection related information. Metadata. So it's an inbuilt. And for any reporting tool, it is something like a heart. Without metadata, right? So it may degrade the performance. So the functionality is like we have to go with the metadata. It's an inbuilt. So that is what the advantage. And first, when we run a report with a live connection, so it's in live. So just go with the functionality. So it's not complicated. I'm just going with the functionality of the reporting tools. In every reporting tool, when we run a report, let's take I have a year-wise sales, year-end sales. I do have lots of columns, year, and you can go with the sales. So I do have lots of columns, but so when I run a report on the top of year-wise sales, it takes the metadata, it goes to metadata, takes the definition, that is year and sales. Year and sales. Sorry. And goes to SQL engine. So we do have SQL engine. It's an inbuilt. SQL engine, you know, like select statement or whatever the things, right? So on the top of database, if you want to fetch a record, if you want to get those records, right, we have to fire a SQL query on the top of database. So that is a functionality. When it comes to like reporting, right, it's an inbuilt functionality where it generates SQL query and it hits the database. So in SQL engine, it creates SQL query, creates or generates. generates SQL statement. And SQL engine is not going to interact with the database directly. SQL engine, correct, right? So SQL engine is not going to interact directly with the database. So in between that particular database and SQL engine, we have one more engine called query engine. Query engine. So query engine directly interacts with the database, interacts with DB, and we do get the data. So this was the flow, interacts with the database and we do get the data. But if we have any analytical calculations, we do call as OLAP services, analytical calculations. So it performs in analytical engine. So we have analytical engine. Example for analytical calculations, you can go with some running sum, running or moving sums, running average, and subtotals. It calculates within a tool, grand totals. It calculates within a tool. And so we'll get the data. So whatever the report, right? It shows the report. So this is what a live connection. You got it, right? In general, every time it takes the definition, it goes to metadata, goes to SQL engine. SQL engine generates the SQL statement, and SQL engine passes this particular select statement into query engine. Query engine directly interacts with the database, and we do get the data. If we have any analytical calculations, it performs in analytical engine. This is an inbuilt functionality of reporting tools. Yeah, that is what this is live connection. Every time so live connection in the sense it hits the database. When you mouse over, connects directly to your data. The speed, okay, you can put aside the speed of your data source, determine the performance. So you can put aside that option, but it's directly connected to the database. Whenever we are working with a live connection in Tableau, first point, Tableau generates .tds file. Tableau generates .tds file. This is a .tds file, sample superstore, world indicator, sample superstore. These are .tds file, Tableau data source file. Default, whenever you are working with a live connection, it creates .tds file and it uses that particular connectivity string .tds. Got it? It's a live connection. And for live connection, the internal process, whatever the background you can see, right? For every reporting tool. So this is what the process. I just want to showcase the process, the actual process for reporting. So we have a metadata. Default metadata tables are going to create. It's a default tables. In that metadata tables, it shows only the definition, something like an address of year. It goes to metadata, take that address and takes that particular like year, comma, sales, whatever the definition. It generates SQL engine. We have SQL engine. It generates select statement for year, comma, sales. Select year, comma, sales from table name, whatever the SQL we have, right? So it generates that SQL within a Tableau, and it goes to SQL engine, like it generates SQL and passes this particular SQL to query engine, because SQL engine does not interact directly with the database or data warehouse. So query engine takes that SQL and interacts with the database and it shows the report. And if you have any calculations, it calculates in SQL engine or it calculates in analytical engine. So that is what the live. So when it comes to like live here, .tds is a live connection. So what is meant by extract? This is important. What is meant by extract? In general, the concept is cubes. I'm not sure, like some may like aware of this particular concept, cube. In traditional BI, in MicroStrategy, in MSBI, in whatever the OBI or whatever the tools, right? For a better performance, in traditional BI, they are going with a cube concept, something like a static database. So pictorial in the sense we don't have, that is what, it's an internal process. It's an internal process. It is not possible to show the pictorial because how to generate. So I'm going to showcase, you can see, right? So let's take with data. We have an option called, okay, we have orders table, data. Okay, let's take this. It is not possible. This is internal. That is what, that's the reason I'm going with this functionality. We don't have a concept, this one in Tableau. Got it, right? We don't have a concept, this one. So you cannot see any particular definition or all these things. But this is the actual process for reporting. I'm going to showcase one thing here. Let's go with access database, browse. Click on sheet, like drag and drop table here. Drop sheet one. So when you are going with state here, you're getting the data, right? State-wise sales, you're getting the data. So this is what the actual process, but where it is creating, where is metadata? So it's a repository within that metadata, but I can showcase you some log files here. I can showcase you the log files, which the process you can see, but you can convert. Now you can see data, convert to custom SQL. So this is also already a select statement. You can see, right? Data, convert to custom SQL. This is what the SQL query, select statement. So by making use of select query, it hits the database, metadata, or sorry, MS Access database, and we are getting the data. If it is Oracle or SQL Server, we do use the same thing. We can connect to the database by making use of server or any particular string or drivers, and we are going to pull those tables and we are going to create those reports. This is a live connection. Got the point, right? So internally, analytical engine in the sense, so internally, we want to calculate, just go with totals. I want to calculate like grand total here. Now this is a grand total. It's within a tool functionality. So within a tool, we do have some calculations. That is what the advantage of analytical engine. Some grand totals, or now you can see sum of sales, quick table calculation, running total. This performs within a total, like within a tool. The calculation is happening, right? So sometimes it's a dynamic aggregation. What is dynamic aggregation? So the aggregation across one particular level. So you can go with the state. I don't have a city. Let's go with the market. Okay, it looks parent here. Now as you can see. So let's stop state. You can see the aggregation. Let's stop running total. And I can see it is central wise sales. You can see the aggregation, right? Across central level, you are getting 2,65,000. When you are going to drop state into rows, the value is changing because this particular value is aggregating across state level, not with the central. But you can go with the analysis, totals, apply, add subtotals. Now I can see this is the actual value of central. But the pictorial wise, it is not possible. So because it's an internal process. And you can go with some log files here if you want to go with the check with the actual process. So today is 2/21 and this is what 8/16, right? Or 8/13 we do have a one log file generator, and 8/16. Let's check with this log file. So it's a log file. Every second you can track. So whatever the functionality we are getting, right? Can you see the timelines here? 6/24. It's 2/21, 6/24 time period. So let's check. 8/14, right? You can see 8/14. So here we have logged in. So 8/14, 8/4. I can see. You can track those information. So this is a log file, whatever the functionality, right? This is on a high level. On a high level. So let's control F. You can select, you can type select whether we have a select statement or not. So we have internally, we have a which QL, VIZ QL. So it's a Tableau generated select query. So it is not that much straight away. Whatever we have seen in convert to custom SQL option, right? You can see some select statement here. Find next. Select into. Select coffee chain query. Now you can see. We have drop coffee chain query here. Select coffee chain query. Got it? State. Coffee chain dot state as state. Got the point, right? Initially we have pull state. So that is what you can track those information by making use of log files. So complete information each and every second. And you can also go with convert to custom SQL. You can convert to custom SQL. If you want to convert, you can convert. So this is a live connection. Every time it hits a database. That is the point. But what is meant by extract? Extract in the sense it's a subset of data, or you can make use of extract. So let's go with a so let's connect to data, Excel, my Tableau repository. Let's go with the data sources. So this is a live connection, right? So in general, it's a live connection. You can click on sheet 2 or sheet 1 and you can create those reports, subcategory wise cells. You can generate reports within a tool. But the backend process, whatever the internal process, right? So it creates a SQL statement. Got it? It creates a SQL statement. And so when it comes to like extract, what is meant by extract? So extract is nothing but cube. In other tools, in traditional BI, we do have a concept called cubes. And in ClickQ also an in-memory tool. We have a concept called QVD, ClickQ, QVD files, ClickQ data files. You can store some set of data into QVD, and you can use that particular static files. It's not static, it's a static, but you can refresh. You can schedule those refresh. I will showcase that. You can make use of some subscriptions, or you can schedule that extract and you can refresh that one to get a real-time data. But when it comes to like QVD files, in ClickQ, it is similar to cubes and it is also similar to .tda. That is what in Tableau we have a concept called .tda file. What is the advantage of .tda? .tda file is nothing but it's a static database, and we can store some set of data into .td file. Got the point, right? We can store some set of data, subset of data into .td file. Click on extract. Click on extract. Now click on sheet 1. Just click on extract and click on sheet 1 or sheet 2. You are getting a prompted, right? .td. Now you can save this .td file. You can save this extract. It's in February 21, 8:22 AM. This is my .td file. So click save. File name is not valid. So colon, I think it does not allow colon. So click on save. So now you can see the symbol here. So you can click on live connection. Just go with the sheet 2. You got it, right? Or let's drop these columns. You can see the symbol, right? It's a data source symbol. Right click, make use of extract. You can use extract. Click on use extract. Now you can see the symbol. You can differentiate with the live and extract here. This is a live and this is an extract. So or you can see this is an extract. So extract includes data till 8:22. Page is not refreshed. So I will showcase that. I am going to showcase extract. extract, whenever you're working with extract, you can see the symbol. First point, identify a symbol whether you're working with extract or not. First point, if it is an extract, you can see this particular symbol. And if you want to differentiate with extract and live connection, so I'm going to showcase the same. So let's drop region here, sales. It's a region by sales, and drag and drop region into color. So we have 4 regions. I don't want to go with all the 4 regions in my report. I want to use extract connection. It's a static connection. And in general, in real time, we are going to use extract or live. It depends on the data, and we have to schedule. We have to schedule this extract to get the refresh, to get a real-time data. So first we can differentiate with live and extract. So whether it is working fine or not. So now right click on extract or just go with edit. Go with the data source level. You have a refresh, right? Extract, refresh, or click on edit. You can apply filter, add, go with the region, south and central. I want to go with only south and central wise data. I don't want to include east and west. Click OK, click extract. You can see right, loading data. Click on sheet 2. Got the point here? So now you can see only south and central related information. So now convert into live connection. It is checked, right? So we are using extract. Now unselect. This is live. Because in live data, we don't have any filter condition. So but whenever you are going to use extract, I'm going to use subset of data. I want to go with only south and central information. Good. This is extract and live. You can make use of filter condition. You can make use of filters, and we'll discuss in general filters. So we do have filters tab. We are going to discuss with that after this particular concept. So this is what live and extract. And in extract, I told that it's a subset of data. You can make use of filter condition. Got it right? You can make use of filter condition, and you can also add multiple filters. I want to go with one particular year. I don't want to use complete information. I want to load only correct. So while working with why should we go for extract? It's a good point. The performance will be better in extract. Yes. If live connection, this is what the point I have discussed, right? If live connection degrades the performance, you can make use of extract. Just remember this point. This is very important. It's not mandatory to go with a live or extract. If live connection degrades the performance, you can go with an extract. Or straight away you can use extract. No issues with that. So whatever the extracted data, right? It's a .tde. It's a data extract. In server side, we do have a server called data extract. We have a server called data extract, or the component. We have backgrounder, whichQL, repository, all those things. Got it? Application server, and we do have data host or data extract. So there it stores the data. It allocates a RAM space, RAM size. So they are going to allocate space for this particular .td file. Got it? So you can use that particular space. So it is not mandatory. So we have like huge number of records. It is not mandatory, or it is the functionality something like we are going to pull all the complete information into RAM and we can improve the performance, right? You may get all these things. So we don't have all doubts here. If you are going to, if that particular report degrades the performance, why can't we pull all the data into RAM and we can improve the performance, right? So it depends. It depends on the functionality. It depends on the server side. It depends on the configuration. It depends on the cost. We do have some limitations. So I have seen the primary server, most of the cases, right? The primary server, so we do have 64 GB of RAM. Primary server. So we do have some worker servers, something like secondary servers. In Tableau server, we have some worker servers. You may have 64 GB or you can go with 32 GB. I have seen one project with worker servers, 4 worker servers, and with 32 GB and one backup server. Backup server. So this is also 32 bit GB. 32 GB, sorry. So we do have multiple services. So you can allocate like each individual services to this these servers, so that we can make use of all the servers running fine. So this is different concept, but the concept is .td. It's a static database. Why we go for static databases? In every reporting tool, you can compare with every reporting tool in Tableau or ClickView or in MicroStrategy, MSBI, any particular reporting tool. But the advantage here in Tableau is straight away you can create .td file. Straight away you can hit that particular database. .td. Got it, right? So this is better perform, like it gives a better performance. You can compare with the .td files, but you can check with lakhs of records, so not with thousands of records. You didn't see any much difference between those thousands of records. You have to go with the lakhs of records. And sometimes I said, right, every time it's a database, you know, like star schema gives a better performance than Snowflake schema. We already discussed that star schema gives a better performance than Snowflake schema. Why? Because in star schema, we do have one single join, but in Snowflake schema, we do have multiple joins. In the similar way, whenever we are working with a select statement, every time it hits a database, so that's the reason why it takes some time to generate those calculations, or if you have any calculations or a join side, it takes some time. But whenever we are going to store the same data for extract, right, you can store the same data. So initially it generates the same thing, but you are going to store the same data into a .td file. Internally, it runs the same select query, and we are going to store that particular data, right, into extract. So now, whenever we are going to run a report with extract connection .td file, it does not goes to metadata and all this process. Straight away hits the extract, and we do get the result. So which one do you get? Which one do you feel that which gives a better performance, live or extract? Obviously, extract gives a better performance, but it's not mandatory. First, you can go with the live. If that particular report not met the SLA time, service level agreement, let's take this particular report has to run before, like less than 10 seconds. If that runs fine, right, within a 6 seconds or 7 seconds, you can go with the live. If it degrades, let's take this report is taking more than 1 minute or 2 minutes. If they are okay with 2 minutes, so we can go with live. If they told that, so we are not okay with 2 minutes of time, so we need to improve. That is what performance, like performance improvements. So that is like we need to take care of those calculations, right? Performance tuning. So better to go for extract, and you can make use of extracted data. Got it? So in extract, because it's a static database, so we have to make use of refresh the data. Got it? So you have to perform a refresh. So on the top of this data, let's go with the sheet 2. You can see, right? So sometimes if your PC is slow, you can see all the processes running backend. Something like it writing, it creating, it loading the data in from metadata. Got it, right? So some of the functionalities. So now right click, extract data. You can extract. And now right click, you can make use of extract, refresh. So by making use of refresh, refreshing the extract will replace its contents. So that means it's something like a full refresh. Full refresh in the sense, so whatever the .td file I do have, completely deletes all the records. Got it, right? Completely remove all the records, and once again it is going to load the like newly loaded data. So once again it is loading. That means let's take I have a .td file. Let's take I do have a .td file. So if this particular .td file, the extracted data, I want to refresh, full refresh. Let's go with the full refresh. If this particular full refresh takes 3 hours of time, generally like whatever the full refresh or any particular refresh, right? So refreshes works in non-working business hours. They're going to schedule in non-working hours. So sometimes like it may take 3 hours or 4 hours of time to refresh the data, to load the data into .td. So the point is full refresh. You got the point, right? Every time it is not the best practice to go with a full refresh. Every time it's not a best practice to go with a full refresh. So better to go for incremental refresh. Better to go for incremental refresh. So what is meant by incremental refresh? So it works only for static database. It works only for .td file, incremental refresh or full refresh. Because anyhow we are going to work with live connection. Anyhow we are going to get a live data by making use of live connection. But it's a static database. Now just go with the data source. You can see the time here. So extract, okay. We're not getting the time, right? Let's save. Let's save in my, or go to my Tableau repository, my tab. Let's save here, February 21. So let's go with the data source level. Now you can see the time, 2/21/2017, 8:34. So whatever the data I do have, right, till 8:34. Today's date, and you can see date and time. So I do get only till 8:34 a.m. But I want to get a real-time data by making use of data extract. Right click, you can make use of refresh. You can make use of refresh. But it's a manual process, right? It's a manual process. So in most of the case, right, so extract files and live files stored in same workspace. See whatever the files, right? So files in the sense .twb or .tde, sorry, .twbx, workbooks or Tableau package workbooks, you can store in any particular location. First point. But in general, so I'm going to create this particular package workbook. Let's take, I'm going to create a package workbook. So I will share these workbooks to you. No issues, because I do have lots of workbooks here. Let's take, I do have these workbooks. These are all workbooks, right? I have lots of workbooks. So I will share this particular workbooks to you so that you can, or I'm going to place this particular workbooks in shared folder. We have a shared folder, right? You can download from that particular shared folder and just try to execute. Whether it works or not, at least you can open or not. So the thing is, it's an in-memory tool. You can store this particular workbook in any particular location. And .td, live and extract, so it saves within a local system, .td. If you want to check with the connectivity information, data sources, now I can see data extract. You got it, right? We have lots of data extracts. And double click on 9.3 and you can see data source, sample superstore Tableau data source. This is a data source. It's a .tds file. So in general, whenever we are working with a live environment, this is mandatory, the .tds connectivity string. So other than that, if we don't have .tds, if we are using live connection, if we want to open a particular connection string, or if you want to work on the connectivity, like this is mandatory. You have to share this particular .tds file. If you want to share the connection string, you have to go with the .tds file. But in most of the cases, right, you're working in a server location. It's a remote desktop connectivity, right? In any real time, in any particular tool or any particular software, it's a remote desktop. It's a secure location. It's a remote machine or a client machine. by making use of VPN connectivity, we are going to connect with a remote desktop. So it's a remote. So that means we are going to work on a client network. So we don't want to share all those things. Anyhow, all the users or whatever the persons, right, log into that particular server. Anyhow, those files, right, it shows in that particular server only, or in that machine only. So no issues with that. So no worries about the connectivity sharing on those things. So the first point is incremental refresh. So full refresh take 3 hours of time. Let's take an organization. Let's take an organization or a company. So let's take every day, right? Every day. So the interviews goes on, and let's take 20 members are going to join a day. So sometimes 10 members, sometimes 12. So it may like differentiate with the count. In that organization, let's take I do have 1,000 employees. Organization, we do have 1,000 employees, and every time if we are going for full refresh, or let's take we have a less count here, let's take 1 lakh employees. So to load 1 lakh employees related information into .tdf file, it may take 3 hours of time. Let's take, it's an example, don't mean that like it takes 3 hours, it depends on the data first thing. Let's take it takes 3 hours of time. But I want to make use of incremental refresh. That means I don't want to load all the records once again. I want to load only the newly loaded records. Only newly loaded records or newcomers who are the employees, right? Who joins in the company. So I want to load only those records. Let's take this the first day and second day and third day, fourth. Got it? So now the count is 1,20,000. Got it, right? So to load only 20 records, if you are going for full refresh, again it burdens on the server, again it runs for 3 hours and it loads this particular record count. So unnecessary, we are going to put pressure on the server. We are going to drop all the records and again we are going to load complete information. So it depends on the server. So we are going to pressurize on the server. So it depends like on the data. So it takes some more time. Yes. So I'm going to explain that. So this logic is called as insert. So that means it is an insertion. Insert. Got it? So incremental refresh, we have to go with insert logic. And what is meant by insert? So what logic we have to go with? Insert, I want to insert a new record. So I want to insert 20 records. So insertion is purely based on primary key. Got it, right? Primary key. Because primary key does not allow duplicates. Primary key does not allow null values. So employee ID is a primary key. So based on employee ID, we can insert those 20 employees. And we will get like those new 20 records. So within a milliseconds of time, or less than a second, or less than a minute, seconds or minutes. So it takes maximum seconds or a minute to load only those 20 records. And you can see that, right, almost you can save 3 hours of time. Got it? Incremental refresh, right click, extract data. You can go with incremental refresh. But you don't have a specific concept called like insert, update, delete here. But you can go with key column here. Let's take row ID is my key column. Click on extract. You can see writing metadata, elapsed time. It is running, right? The server is running. Right click. If you want to go with if you want to check with the CPU usage, I can see it takes some time here, the CPU usage. It depends on servers also, like I'm going to explain that. So this is incremental refresh based on insert logic. Right click, extract. Now you can see incremental refresh, or you can go with the full refresh. Go with incremental refresh. Let's go with full refresh, or I'm not going with full refresh or incremental refresh. Right click, extract, just go with the history. I have used incremental refresh before 842 and I don't have newly loaded records. And now try to perform one more incremental refresh. I can see 0 records inserted. Got it, right? So you can perform incremental refresh based on timelines. You can load only those newly loaded records. But when it comes to like full refresh, refresh full, performing a full refresh can take a long time. Are you sure you want to proceed? Click yes. So we have only few number of records. So just go with a full refresh. Now done with a full refresh. Right click, extract, go with the history. Full refresh at 8:43. I can see right 51 AM. So whatever the incremental refresh we have done, right, it's washouts. Again, we have loaded all the records once again. Got the point? So the difference between incremental and full refresh to save the time, that is the only point. And if you want to perform update, yeah, that was a good question. If we have updated things, so you have to go with update logic. So what is meant by update? The same thing. So we have new employees. It's an insert. Let's take salary for the employees who are getting salary, right? So for every year we do get a hike. So I need to update that particular data. So we have already snapshot of updated date, updated records. So update is purely based on date column. So we may have updated date. Or modified date. We may have updated date and modified date. So it depends on the database functionality. You can make use of that column. Now I can see, right click, extract data, incremental refresh, make use of order date. So based on order date, I want to perform an incremental refresh. Click on extract. Got the point, right? So you can make use of incremental refresh, update on the top of date field or on the top of most of the case, right? Date field helps a lot. Date field helps a lot, and you can also go with delete. Sometimes some of the employees going for another companies, right? They're going to put the papers and they're going out of the company. So you can make use of delete. Delete and update. It is purely based on updated date or modified date. But this is more flexible when you compare with other tools, right? This is more flexible. So whatever the refresh, right, you're working, that is more flexible. Incremental refresh. Clear? So incremental refresh, and you can make use of, so this is static extract. This is manual process, right? Not static. It's a manual process. But in server side, in general, in server, Tableau server or Tableau online, you can perform that incremental refresh schedules. You can schedule those refreshes. No issues with that. You can schedule. I'm going to showcase in Tableau online. I'm going to showcase in Tableau online how to schedule those extracts. Clear? Incremental refresh and live connection and extract. Or any questions here? So first point, it's not mandatory. No, question in the sense, if you have any questions, you can ask like regarding those live and extract. So first point, like it's not mandatory to go with the live or extract. First check with the live connectivity. If that degrades the performance, just go with the extract connection. And I'm going to showcase one more point here. So we are using .td file. Okay, that's fine. And while working with, okay, let's go with the live connection and check extract. It's an Excel, right? So when it comes to like Excel, connectivity, it is not possible to convert. It is not possible to convert to custom SQL. But when it comes to like MS Access database, so it is possible. So Access database or any particular database, right? So metadata is very important. First point, if that metadata changes, right, so the definition, the total definition is going to change. So it's important. So I'm not sure, like they are not going to change the metadata. I'm already informed that for reporting tools, metadata is something like a heart. Got it right? So I have seen one project. So metadata was corrupted. So metadata was corrupted. So that means whatever the functionality, whatever the reports they have created, right, they lost all the reports. In other tool I have seen, not with Tableau. So that is what importance with all the functionality, metadata. So if metadata corrupts, so you lost all the data. It's something like a heart for the reporting. So the next concept is, so we'll discuss with other extensions, Tableau bookmarks and all those things. And you can see, right, so it is not possible to write a custom SQL. It is not possible to write a custom SQL query. Yeah, it is possible. So we can take backup for all those things, all the information. In server side, we can run some backup files. We do have some tab commands. I'm going to showcase some tab commands and command lines. Let's go with this. Tab admin and tab commands. So this for server tab admin commands, it helps. If you have time, you can search on this. You can write, you have to log into Tableau server, but don't go with Tableau server. Let's see. Let's go with backup. You can take backup files on the top of Tableau server. So we have lots of things. So you have lots of options here. Not only with backup, you can perform, you can log in. This is related to Tableau's admin commands. We can also go with command prompts. So something like you can use command prompts. It is more flexible in Tableau. You can use command prompts. Or you can also go with this is tab admin commands, right? You can go with tab commands, tab CMD for developers. Now I can see. So you can delete a project or delete a group, create users, got it right? Log in, log out, refresh extracts. You can also make use of refresh extracts. So if you have at least like, you don't want to go with all the complete information, at least you can tell in interviews, right? I do have some basic knowledge on tab admin or tab CMD commands, so that it helps. At least you can list out some of the commands. So anyhow, we are not going to work. If we get an opportunity in Tableau server, so for sure they're going to give some training on that. But at least if you have a knowledge, right, it is more flexible. Got it? Just remember, we have tab admin and tab CMD commands. Yeah. So I just want to showcase legacy connection for now. So in general, like in weekdays, right, I'm going to take the session from 8 to 9. And for weekends from Saturday and Sunday, I will stretch a more bit like for 2 hours. Is that okay for you? Yeah, thanks. If you have any questions, you can ask. So no issues with that. But if I have some time, right, because I do have some like project deliverables. So till like February 28th, and it was extended to till March first week. So that was a problem. So I don't have even Saturdays and Sundays also. So I need to work on Saturdays and Sundays for till this particular project completion. So I will stretch a bit on Saturday and Sunday initially. So no issues with that. But so first we can complete this legacy connection. Yeah, no problem. For 1.5. Yeah, I will take 1.5 hour.
Hello,
So
Ramesh.
from like, yeah.
Hey, hi. This is Harsha. Even is it possible, like in weekends, to discuss about the most of the time, like daily activities of Tableau? He'll be performing some 50%, 60% of the operations will be like the most of the work will be done by some commands or some the methodologies, right? Could you stress like for half an hour on weekends, what are the main important things he has to work on the data? Could you cover that?
Sure, yeah. So
Okay.
not with the complete commands because like I don't have a server, first point. It is more clear. And not like it when it comes to a development perspective, right? I will show the project.
Yeah, yeah. In the
I will
desktop
have some
itself, what are
right,
the
right. In the desktop, I will
yeah,
show like I will explain the roles and responsibilities and whatever the process, the requirements gathering, how it comes the requirements. I will explain all those points. And I do have some workbooks. I do have my own workbooks, but I don't want to like expose because I will remove all the client names and all those things and I will
yeah, yeah,
showcase the calculations because
yeah,
it's a record. So I don't want to share out
yeah.
so for
I mean, I
security.
just want to see how the requirements comes on, how he performs or visualizes the data, so that if it will be a very good for us to know how in practical it works, like how to think in a practical way.
Correct. Yeah,
Okay.
no problem. So in general, whatever my sessions I'm going to teach, right, it's in a pure real time only.
Yeah.
So I don't have to take something like a real time class and normal classes.
Yeah.
So whatever I do have, right, so I do support. In general, I do support for projects. I do
Okay.
take calls.
Okay.
I
Okay.
have like attended close to like 1,000+ calls.
Okay.
So I
Okay.
know what is what. So no issues with that. I'm going to take some scenarios. I'm going to help out.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
So on the top of Excel, right? So it is not possible to convert a custom SQL data, convert to custom SQL, but we have a flexibility because Excel is not a database, right? So if you want to write a custom SQL query, let's go with a legacy connection. We have a concept called legacy connection here. So add a new data source, click on Excel, sample superstore. Just concentrate here. There is no logic here. Simple. Just click on Excel. Don't double click. And you have an option called drop down open, right? Open. If you can open, it's a normal Excel file. If you can open with the legacy connection, now you can see connected to legacy. Connected to Excel, it's a legacy connection. Now drag and drop orders table, go with the sheet 2. So have normal connection. It's a normal connection. Let's edit and let's go with the sheet 2 or order sample superstore, and this is legacy. Got the point, right? It's a normal and it is legacy connection. So go with the data source. It's a normal. Let's go with the legacy connection. This is what my legacy connection. Now drop down data. Now you can say convert to custom SQL. You can convert to custom SQL by making use of legacy connection. You got it right? So it is also possible to go with the custom SQL query on the top of Excel by making use of legacy connection. This is one of the important question. So you can also go with the functionality. Legacy in the sense, legacy, it is different. The meaning legacy in not with the software, it's different. It follows or something. But here the legacy in the sense it's a connectivity with Excel. So it's something like a live connection, or we can write a custom SQL. Got it right? Select star from table name. You can say custom SQL query. But in general, or generally think like, so Excel is not a database, right? First point, you're not getting any new custom SQL. So, but in general, if you want to fire a query or if you want to write a custom SQL query, if you want to convert, now you can see it is disabled, convert to custom SQL. But if you want to go with a custom SQL query, data, already we have converted, edit custom SQL. But the only thing is you have to go with the syntax here. So now click answer, drop down. I'm going to write a custom SQL straight away. Now you can see data. So new custom SQL, select star from table name. So what is the table name? Let's go with orders. Orders. Click OK. Now I can see we are getting an error. The syntax is you have to go with dollar symbol. Got it? You have to go with the dollar symbol. You have to just click OK. Let's check. Still we are getting an error. Make use of square brackets. Click OK. Now I can see it is working. The syntax is you can make use of dollar symbol and with a square brackets. This is syntax. No need of semicolon. It's a legacy connection. Right? We'll discuss in detail, and you can also go with in general databases. Let's go with Access database. I can say new custom SQL. Default, we are getting a new custom SQL. Let's go with the select star from table name. Let's go with the location. I don't want to go with dollar symbol here. Just make use of location. Click OK. Now you can see area code, state, market, market size. So we do get procedures. So we do get like when you connect to the database, right? You can see all the procedures as well. If you're going to connect with any particular database, you'll find views, tables, and procedures here. Yeah, that is possible. No issues with that. So now you can see the custom SQL. I'm just differentiating with that. You don't want to mention like semicolon here for databases and the square brackets and the dollar symbol. Straight away you can write a select statement. But for legacy connection, so this is mandatory, the syntax. Table name with dollar symbol and square brackets. Clear, right? So we'll discuss in detail with legacy connection, and we can also go with some filter conditions. And so next we can discuss with pivoting and how to load some cross tab. Yeah, tell me.
Ramesh, the legacy system has to be changed in the for the Excel sheet in the data source, right? I mean, on the top, I have a Tableau 10 version.
Correct. So 10th version, I just want to go with the legacy because in 9th version, that's the reason I switch over to 9.3, right? Initially, I have showed in 10th 10.1. I can differentiate with that. We have an excellent functionality. We have data blending in previous versions as well, but you can also go with cross database join in 10th version. So I'm going to explain all the functionalities. So that is what I'm going to differentiate with 9.3 and 10th version.
No, my question is where to do custom SQL for the legacy system in I'm not getting the option. Do you show that once?
So this is the 10th version.
Okay.
Let's go back, connect to data, Excel, sample superstore, drop down, open with the legacy connection.
Okay.
Got
okay,
it, right?
we had to drop down in the Tableau, right?
Correct, yes.
Okay.
Within a Tableau. So that is not a database. So
Yeah.
now I can make use of custom SQL. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, fine. Thanks. And if you have any questions, you can ask. And that is what, if you have any questions, right, you can list out and you can ask some more questions, or at least you can list out those questions, and we'll discuss more in Saturday and Sundays. So got it, right? Yeah. Thanks. Yeah.
Yeah, hi Ramesh. Thank you.
Yeah. So,
It's a good
yeah.
session.
Thanks.
So guys, we'll meet you in another session. Okay, fine. Thank you. Have a
Yeah.
nice day.
Thanks. Yeah.
Bye.
Thank you.